Howdy Friars, and welcome to the demo day. Date is October 8th. We have a few things we want to show off. We have a mock-up for the new Foundry DAO website that we're designing. We also have sort of a redesigned governance that's almost about to go live. We're also going to show off the brand identity that we've been working on, which is kind of informing the Foundry DAO website. So those are the three things we're going to demo, and then we'll just share a few updates after that as well. So I'll hand it to Chris for now to show the branding stuff and the mock-up for the website that we're working with.
Righty. So I did share this on the group, obviously, but just going to show it again for those who didn't see that. So yeah, this is the Foundry brand identity. We have an introduction that explains how to use the guide. Obviously, the guide is the typography colors of Foundry. So whenever we make material or stuff, it will inherit the style from this document. So you'll see on the new site as well. We have something about Foundry, and then the logo, which you all have seen. So we just included that again as well. And then also the logo construction. So this explains all the different heights and font types on the logo itself. It also shows the different variations of the logo. And then it also shows the do's, so in which way you can use the logo. And then the don'ts is don't use the logo like this, please. Don't tip it on its side. It's meant to stand upright. Then we have the colors, the different colors we use in a brand guide with the RGB and hex codes in CMYK. And then we also have color contrast usage. So this just shows how the different colors go together, in which way you use them. Then we have the typography. So this is the Lemon Milk Source Sans Pro font that we're using, and then just some explanations as well as to why we chose the font. It has a bit sharper edges as well, which look quite cool. Then patterns. So these are when you use the stuff on shirts or any stuff like that. Photography. This is debatable. You know, this is not final, but it goes about the kind of style. So depending on photos we might take in the future for content and stuff, but this just shows that, as well as the gradient overlays with the different colors we chose. Some 3D assets. So if you'll see on the site where we use this. Then we made stationery, although we won't necessarily use this per se, but it just shows how the branding looks on real world material that we all know and feel. So letterhead, a folder, and then business cards. Hey, imagine we make a business card for Logan. Envelope, and then wearables. So we made some cool shirts, caps, cups, and access cards. So if we do events and stuff, those are the kind of cards we can use. And yeah, then also just a few different options of t-shirts, black and navy, and then same for the caps. So we've got black and gray, and then we got the access card type thing, as well as the cup with the gradient in the inside. Yeah, so that's mostly it for the brand identity. It contains all the common elements that you usually put in one. So let me just go on to the demoing the landing page that we have designed thus far. So we have two options for the landing page. So the one is just a light and the other is a dark. So I think we might mostly go for the dark one, but we do have the option for the light as well. So the idea is at the top, we've got the products on a sort of slider that you'll be able to select the products, and the page will then change based on the product you've selected. We've got a bunch of call to actions on the site. The dashboard link is still missing, so we just need to add that, but that's a small change. Then we've got the Foundry DAO, the fry sale, so just these brief explanations. We've got why buy fry.
I just want to quickly point out, so the content here is still, let's say, outdated, because this mock-up has been built with the current landing pages content, which is a little out of date. So for example, it talks there about liquid democracy, whereas recently we focused just on using the comp style governance. So don't take any of the words you see here as final. This is just kind of to demo the visuals.
yeah, this is new though. So why buy Fry? So we've got an intro, we've got an explanation to the profit model. There is still a placeholder here, so we need more detail from Skulk on exactly how Leverly and those things will boost the price of Fry. So that is still a bit of a placeholder. We've got the governance explanation, we have the yield farming, and then we have the radical freedom. So those are basically the different things we want to make prominent on this page, because these are good actual reasons to buy Fry, and that's quite an important thing when landing on this page. Then we've got the video, same as we have on the current homepage. We might end up making a new one here depending on the available resources. We've got technologies and partners. This might still change a bit, but these are basically technologies and tools we use to do our everyday stuff, as well as build our technologies or dApps. And yeah, then just a nice footer with all the different links. We did also make a lighter version. So you'll see on this version, a lot of the stuff has been made a bit lighter than the other version. I actually do prefer the darker version. It resonates a bit better on the Foundry branding. But I think we'll just internally chat a bit about that. Maybe ask the community as well to get some updates on which of the two options we should be going for. And yeah, that's mostly it for the new homepage, landing page that we've been talking about. We'll be completing more pages. We've got the blog, about us, roadmap, white paper, FAQ, and then we've also written content for each of the different Foundry products. So we'll have a dedicated page on the site for the different products, as well as the team and the updated roadmap, all that stuff. So that will all be shared in the coming week. We might actually complete all those designs this week still. So I think we should be able to demo that next week, Friday. And then we'll start building the site. We've opted for using a Strapi backend. So Strapi is basically a headless CMS, and we wanted to use a CMS so that it's easy for anybody to update the Foundry website. Doesn't require any developer knowledge. So if there's a new roadmap or some content that needs to change, you can do that in the CMS and just run a new build, and then the content will update. So currently there is no framework. It's just plain HTML, CSS. So this we'll write it, probably build it in Next.js with the Strapi backend. So we've set the backend up. We're currently creating the schema. So we have also created a sitemap with all the pages and elements we'll have on the site. So we know exactly what schema and stuff we need, and we'll then also create that accordingly in the Strapi backend. So yeah, that's mostly the update of the website. Just to share some timelines, we're looking to complete the website within the next 2 weeks. That's currently what we're pushing for. And the reason why we're also pushing so hard is I'll just share briefly on our PR article. So we've completed a PR article for Deeth Leverly version 1 that sells Leverly, but also maps in quite a few places, maps back to Foundry itself. And this article is going to be posted on 6 or 7 different sites, including crypto.com. So from that, we're looking to get some PR, some outreach, people to get eyes on Foundry, and hopefully also more people to join the community and also to buy Fry. And so before we do that, we want the new website to be in place with the latest content and everything, because the current one is a bit too outdated. And yeah, that's just where people mostly look before investing or joining projects. And so that's why we're focusing on that. I think that's pretty much me. Logan, there's still the governance, and then the new menu we've added on Leverly some small changes. So
Okay.
hand it over to you.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and I just want to comment. I am excited about that. I'm almost actually more impatient, just because now that we have Deeth ready to market, I'm just so eager to just throw it at the market and see what we get in. I also want to mention that getting people to buy Fry is one of the goals, but the other goal is just to get people to buy Deeth, because that also will bring in profit.
Mint Deeth.
Mint Deeth. Yeah. Buy/mint. I guess mint is the technically accurate. In any case, we get a percentage fee from that. So that'd be a nice success scenario as well, if a bunch of people just buy Deeth. But yeah, so let me just show off some of the visual changes. onto the governance. So this is, I mean, it's pretty much the same governance that we've shown before. It's just gone through a significant visual overhaul. So it just looks a bit cleaner. Yeah, not really much to say about this exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's quite a few. I mean, yeah, it looks significantly different and improved from the previous time I think we showed it.
Yeah.
And also, like, we do have the times in now as well. So in other words, we do have the start time and the end time.
Yes, and I did actually want to mention, so this has just been put in functionally. So this hasn't yet gotten the visual design treatment, but yeah, everything else has been redesigned. And so we'll probably do like a redesign pass over this small element too pretty soon. Yeah, and then in the background, we've also just been making a few changes to how responsive it is. So you, not in this branch, but in one of the branches that's now complete, you don't need to be connected for the proposals to load anymore, and they also load a lot faster. So yeah, those are the changes we've been doing on governance, and we're pretty much at the point now where we just need to decide on some final settings for governance. You know, how long is the time lock going to be, and that sort of thing. And then we'll be ready to launch and start testing, let's say, what the real governance is. And assuming we find no errors, then, or no bugs, we'll put a bunch of the treasury into the Matic governance and yeah, basically say that governance is live. So that's quite exciting to be close to that.
We've also deployed all the contracts. I believe there's about 5 different contracts in the background for this to work. So we've deployed all of them.
Well,
and we've also reconnected the interface, but they're not on the mainnets yet.
Well, they're all on Matic, but we'll have to redeploy
Yeah.
the real versions. So we
Yes,
deployed the
yeah.
versions that have, for example, the time lock is set to 1 second. So
Yes.
you have to wait a whole
Correct.
second before you execute it, or before you execute a proposal. Obviously, that needs to be more like a day or two. But yeah, we're very close to getting that governance done. Yeah, so then I should be able to, Chris, I should just be able to go to Leverly and see that new menu, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We still need to fix this loading thing that happens.
Yeah,
Just add the loader so it doesn't jump like this.
I thought we had fixed that, or does it need to be refixed now for some reason?
We fixed it on a bunch of other properties. Like,
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's something Christopher just needs to put on this page specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on permapost and the different other, and on this page obviously,
On this
but it's
page,
not
yeah.
on. It's not on the.
Okay, so it's this menu up here. So we can go back to
Yes.
the landing page, and then we can check out the Medium, Twitter, and Telegram. I believe Twitter will bring you right to, or I mean Telegram rather will bring. Okay, yeah. So these are all pointed at our Leverly communities. Cool. Yeah. I think that's it for demoing. So I'll just stop sharing here. Yeah, as far as other updates, I mean, for myself, I'm just working on the content for the new website. So I'm currently working on a roadmap. The other day, I finished some stuff, just writing all the content about each product. The roadmap's coming out well. It's actually turning into more of a where we've been and where we're going kind of document that I think as soon as I'm done with it, I'm actually just going to share that with the community anyway. And then when the website's ready, we'll probably modify it slightly, update it a little bit, and put it on the website. But yeah, that's all I have for updates. What do you guys want to share?
I don't have any specific other things from my side. I think the PR is going to be cool to have, so we hope
Yeah.
to get some nice traction from that. And then I think what we can maybe also share is the fact that about the interviews and the content publishing strategy that we're also working on is to regularly publish articles on different platforms that aren't just about Foundry products, to also create some credibility for us in the industry, as well as interviews. We're going to start interviewing other projects and people to also get eyes on Foundry that way, and just start creating some awareness. So I think that's also worth sharing. Don't know if there's anything else to mention there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, other than just I'm excited to start that PR. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, cool. I'm excited about the interview part. I think that's going to also be quite cool.
Yeah, well, and actually a note on that, one of the biggest bumps of engagement and funding into the sale was right after we did the interview with Igor. Was that actually the biggest one, or was the biggest one something
I
else?
think I think that was the biggest one.
Yeah,
I think the
okay.
biggest one was specifically Igor and then the Twitter influencers. Yeah.
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 Yeah, so so that'll be cool. I mean, our goal with that is to basically invite people on, mostly to talk about their projects. You can, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go and find in our videos. If you sort by most popular, the second most popular is the chat we did with Igor. The first most popular is an ad we paid for. So you could say the first most organically popular was the chat with Igor. And so we just want to do more stuff like that, where it's not really an agenda about talking about our project. It's more about, as you know, Skulk and I are developers trying to build things and user apps in this space. And so we're going to talk to people from that lens. And I think the angle is going to be basically, you know, what is the road to sovereignty? So like what does the road look like between today and a future where crypto has, let's say, liberated humanity? You know, what are the grindstone like steps, you know, step by step, how do we get there? So we'll be talking to people probably about scaling, about, you know, decentralized, that ideal of decentralization, uncensorability, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm excited to, we're gonna hone that soon. I think probably early next week, Skulk and I are gonna get together and really get clearer about what the messaging there is, and we'll probably package it as a podcast too. So that'll
Yeah,
be cool to do.
We're also working on a content and interview generation workflow so that we can actually repeat the process. So how do we find topics? How do
Right.
we write them? How do we curate them? Where do we publish them? And
Right.
so we can also track this we'll probably create a Jira or something, Trello board, just to track the steps and make sure we follow up on interviews and stuff. So we've been working on that workflow as well,
Yeah.
just to create consistency. And
Yeah.
like I said, it's something we want to repeat on a weekly basis and be consistent about.
Yeah, and what's exciting to me about that is we put a couple of hours of work into an interview, and then we have a process for taking that interview and doing a bunch of things with it. So, okay, we can condense it into an article, we can chop it up and find the, you know, little clips to release and kind of magnify the impact of that content by 5 times or something like that. Yep, yeah, and it'll be fun to do. It'll be fun to talk to these smart people. So,
Smart contract people.
yeah, that's right. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's it. Yeah, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.